Hi everybody, welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm sorry if there's background noise. It's currently raining by me, which is quite welcoming and nice. We're going to go through a game that was played in 1907 between two German masters. The first one was Theodor von Scherf, and he was playing against Richard Teichmann. You guys have probably heard about Richard Teichmann before. He was quite a good player back in that time. He was known as Richard V, apparently, when I was busy looking him up on Wikipedia. He was called Richard V because he normally came fifth in chess tournaments. Don't know how true that story is. Anyways, he was playing black when Scherf was playing white. White played e4, black played e5, white played knight f3, attacking the pawn, black played knight c6, defending the pawn, and white plays bishop c4. Now this is known as the Italian game. Number of moves that black can play here is knight f6, that's definitely a move, bishop c5, which got played in the game, and white plays c3. Now the idea behind c3 is to try and get his pawn in the center of the board with d4, the move d4. What it also does is it opens up this line for the queen to maybe go to b3, and then it puts pressure on this diagonal towards the king. The downside of this move is the knight can't move to its most natural square on c3. Excuse me. So after c3, the normal move here is knight f6, attacking the pawn on e4. However, black plays queen e7. Now, the idea behind this move is for black to maintain his pawn on e5. He's going to play d6 next, followed by moving the bishop back, which maintains his pawn on e5. This is not seen very much in modern chess, but I don't think it's a bad idea. As you'll see in this game, it works out pretty well. There's also a little idea behind this move. If white does continue with his planned d4, black can capture. When white recaptures, attacking our bishop, we have an intermediate move, queen takes e4 check, thus winning a pawn, and black should be much better here. However, white castles kingside. Now black plays d6. Now white plays d4. Now this little trick doesn't work any longer, because when black captures this pawn, white recaptures. Now I know the queen won't capture the pawn because the bishop is being attacked, but if the queen did capture on e4, white would have rook e1, pinning the rook to the king, thus winning the queen. So after d4, black plays bishop b6. Okay, so remember this was the plan I was telling you about. d6 to keep control of the e5 square, and the bishop moving back so it can't be captured by the pawn. White plays a4. Now this has a bit of a sneaky little idea. Let's see what happens. Black plays a6, and now white plays a5. I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to try and work out, can black capture this pawn? He's got two pieces attacking this pawn, and white only has one piece defending. So is it possible to actually capture that pawn? If you answered yes, then you're right. Okay, but let's see. Black played bishop a7. He didn't even capture the pawn, but he actually could have. Now the first little idea is, if the bishop does take the pawn, now the knight's protecting the bishop, so if the rook takes, the knight will take. But white's got an in-between move again, where he attacks the knight would have to move away, and now the bishop no longer has a defender. this sort of tactic is known as removing the defender. Okay, so we're attacking the defender of the bishop. When he moves away, we win the bishop. The other way black could have captured that pawn is with the knight. Now, in first glance, it actually looks like white can even do well here by capturing the knight. Now when the bishop recaptures, white has queen a4 check, attacking the king and attacking the bishop. Now this is another tactic known as a double attack. The problem is, if black looks one move further, he'll realize that he actually has a brilliant move and a counter attack in the form of b5. This too is a double attack. So even though white now gets the bishop, black can recapture white's bishop, and black is actually doing better here. So that was a trick that white set, but he was actually tricking himself. Lucky for him, black didn't see it. Black played bishop a7. After bishop a7, white played h3. Now h3 is a move normally seen with beginners. They like to play their pawn in front of their king to open a back door so he doesn't get back rank mated. The problem with this move is that sometimes it allows you to get your attack going faster. So for example, if black can somehow get a pawn to this square quite quickly, this square acts as a hook, which means it's easier for us to open up his king and attack him. You also see later on in the game that this move actually helped black win the game. Black played knight f6, developing his last knight. White played pawn takes e5. Black captured on e5 with his knight. White captured on e5 with his knight, Black played queen takes knight, and now black is attacking this pawn twice. What is white to do? He can't push this pawn to f3, defending the pawn, because it's pinned. This bishop is pinning the pawn to the king, which means it can't move. Now, white plays a tricky idea. He plays knight to d2, hoping that black does capture. Then white simply recaptures. When the queen captures, again we see this pin. Rook to e1, pinning the queen to the king, which would win the queen. Unfortunately for white, black was a lot smarter than that, and black played the very nice, surprising and strong move, bishop takes h3. And white thought, well, why not? I can just simply recapture the bishop. The bishop's worth 3, pawn's only worth 1. Now black comes in with his queen to g3. This pawn still can't capture because the bishop is pinning the pawn to the king. It would be check, and it's illegal to move into check. So white's only move is king h1. Black captures this pawn, check. The king can only move to g1. Now we've gotten rid of 2 of white's pawns in front of his king, so his king's very weak. However, we had to give away a piece to do that. Now the general rule is, if you give away a piece to open up the king, if you have 3 pieces that can come in afterwards to do the attack, you'll normally have enough to win the game. So we've got the queen, we've got the bishop. What other piece can we bring in to attack the king? The knight. Now black is threatening queen h2, checkmate. White needs to defend, so he plays knight f3. This defends the h2 square, so there's no checkmate anymore. So black thinks, how can he weaken this white king even more? So he starts off with queen g3, checking the king. The king has to move to h1. Now there's not only the queen and the bishop that's attacking this pawn like before, now there's also this knight. So this pawn is really overcome because black plays bishop takes f2. Now, after this move, white resigned for the simple reason his king is completely open. He's surrounded by black's pieces. For example, if the rook captures the bishop, black has knight takes f2, checkmate, and it's already the end of the game. Another thing, let's say for example white tries bishop d5, then the queen goes to h2, check. The square is now no longer available because the bishop's there, so the knight would have to move to h2, and black has queen takes h2, checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this first YouTube video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support my channel, I'll leave the link for the donation in the description. Thank you very much.